Hi, what's up? It's your boy Anthony Simmons here with Higher Heights. And if it's one thing that definitely got my attention over the weekend, it's when Lisa Leslie made an appearance on LeBron's The Shop episode, one of LeBron's The Shop episodes. It caught my attention for more than one reason, but on this channel, we got to get to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We're going to be talking about today the WNBA lack of fan support and what really needs to be done in order to rectify this situation. The women got a lot to say, and definitely Draymond Green chimes in on his perspective and his thoughts about what the WNBA needs to do. With no further ado, we're getting ready to get into this video. You know I like to do this, and I know you like to watch, so I need you to go ahead and hit that like button. Also, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so that you can know when I'm dropping material like this. I told y'all, my goal is 1,000 subs by the end of December. I know we can do it together. Let's get into this video.
For you, as one of the pioneers of WNBA, how do you feel the game has evolved? Does it still have a long way to go? From where you sit?
What changes you? Yeah, exactly. If it's one thing that you, I don't want to say change, that you feel that can help the WNBA's game out.
Help the game out. Okay, so I think the game is looking great. I think it's evolved great. I believe that player for player, players are more talented, faster. You can see they're getting the individual training, ball handling skills, shooting. The game is phenomenal. I thought they're playing at a high level. I'm very proud of them. I support the WNBA still. I will always, obviously we'd love to have Brittany back home. That's important.
For sure. Shout out BG.
Shout out to BG. She's never, far from our thoughts. Yeah. But the WNBA is rocking. What could we have more? I just think, from a salary standpoint, it'd be great for the women to be able to make more money. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. I think I saw something that said one player that makes maybe $12 million on the NBA team could cover the whole WNBA salaries.
Yeah, that's insane.
So that's kind of crazy. And again, we're what, 26 years young, so it's not like we're comparing ourselves to the NBA, but I do feel like the pay gap would be something that, we could just take a donation around the NBA, maybe one night y'all don't go to the casino.
I have something on this though, because it pisses me off. It pisses me off because I don't think there's anyone in America that supports the WNBA more than NBA players.
100%.
The NBA players support the WNBA
the most.
More than we probably support the NBA. And it bothers me. You
shouldn't be bothered because the WNBA players, I can tell you 100%. And we had a meeting for our 25th anniversary. We're do Zooms with the veteran, the legends of the league or whatever, and just talking about it. And I told them on that call, the number one supporter that we have, you guys never focus on, and that is the NBA.
Lisa. It's a lot to unpack in the conversation that she was having as LeBron asked her a question of if there's anything about the WNBA that needs fixing, what it is. And I can dang near tell you that everybody knew the answer to what she was going to say that needed to be fixed, even though she went through the whole spiel about how the league is advancing and the women are getting more skilled and more faster and the game was in a good place. We all pretty much knew that at the end of the day, it was going to come down to pay. Let me preface my comments by saying this. Lisa Leslie is one of my favorite WNBA players, probably because of the fact that she was one of the most known WNBA players and at one point was probably the face of the league along with Rebecca Lobo. Not because I actually watched her play, because to be honest, I never really remember watching vaguely more than a few minutes of any WNBA game over the span of my entire lifetime. It's just not too interesting to me. Now, I did, when I was a young kid, think it was an awesome idea for the women to have their own league. I thought this was great. The world was changing and the women were saying they wanted their own league. So as a kid, I said, wow, this is an awesome idea. And once again, like I said, Lisa Leslie was one of the first women that I ever knew about playing this game and one of the first women that I ever heard about dunking the basketball, actually. Now let's start here. The fact that the WNBA is more than 50 years younger as a league than the NBA lets you know already that no, you guys' pay should not be comparable to a man's pay. So while you're digging up all the analytics and the statistics about what the average NBA player salary is compared to the WNBA salary, those two are like apples and oranges, and you can't even go there when it comes to the data and statistics as far as how much each individual person is being made. There's always going to be a pay gap between the NBA and the WNBA, if we're honest. As well, there should be. You can't walk into any company in this world where somebody's been there longer with longer tenure and make less money than somebody just walking through the door, unless said person walking through the door is offering a product that's way more advanced, way more exciting, way more valuable than the person who's been there longer. So no, the pays are not going to be the same no matter how you slice it up. Which brings me to my next point. I told y'all we were going to tell the truth, and sometimes that comes across as brutally honest. If we're honest, the WNBA, pound for pound, minute for minute, is nowhere near as exciting and exhilarating as an NBA basketball game for obvious reasons. Come on, y'all. The athleticism, the speed, the aggression, the force at which the guys play the game is just way leaps and bounds far ahead of women. And you expect it to be this way. I know we live in a world where we choose to ignore the fact that men and women's bodies are physically made different, and it makes the game look a lot different. But when in reality, we actually see the differences making as far as aesthetically when we look at the game. I mean, I'm not wanting to digress when I look at professional sports. I don't want to see a bunch of people doing the things that I can do at my local neighborhood YMCA. I want to see people doing what I could never do. That's what entertainment is. We look at no other form of sports or entertainment, acting or anything unless it's entertainment based on the fact that these people are performing and doing things that we no otherwise could do. So if I turn on a game and I see people, WNBA, playing the game like I could go down here to the local neighborhood park and see people playing the game, that's not worth paying for. It's not worth me spending 2 or 3 hours endorsing. That's point number 2. So the men's game is way more entertaining, and it probably always will be. I keep saying this and stressing this in the society. Just because a woman can do something doesn't mean she should. And sometimes we got to stop pushing these issues because it is just what it is, which brings me to point number 3. And in the interest of the world that we live in, I know that I'm going to take some heat for what I'm about to say. But men simply do not like to see their women as masculine. When you look at women out there playing physical in the paint, when you look at women out there sweating and going hard like a man would do in the aisles of competition, we just don't want to see our women that way. While the WNBA does have some attractive looking women, you do got some that's getting on a 6'5"-ish, 6'6"-ish type scale. And yeah, you already know where I'm going with this. I don't want to really get all the way out there. But you never want to see your women being masculine. We already have a big enough problem with that as is. So back to Lisa Leslie and Draymond Green having this conversation on LeBron's episode of The Shop. Lisa brings up the fact that the average NBA player makes about $12 million per year, which could cover the whole WNBA salary. Now, when she brings up this point, you can see Draymond Green's head about to explode.
You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what? I dare you to sit up there and say, explain. You know what I'm talking about, man. It's fighting people. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day. To this day. You just sit here, you don't know what I'm talking about?
He interjects and says, look, that makes me angry because he feels like there's no bigger supporters of the WNBA than the actual NBA.
To this day.
And that's really true. The NBA endorses the WNBA to the max. But when he says this, Lisa Leslie begins to do this frenetic, backpedaling, passive-aggressive type approach with a Draymond Green, when we know that's a total lie. She begins to say, hey, I tell the women that men are doing their best to support. When we know behind those tunnels, if we be real as real people in this world, behind those walls, those women are probably griping and complaining, saying if the men would do this, if the men would do more, if the men would support, that they would probably get a better acceptance worldwide as far as their game, when that is a lie. The straight up pure fact is, you want men to do more, you want the men's game to do more, when women surely aren't even interested in your game. Most women who even play sports in high school have no interest in sports if they don't pursue it on the collegiate level and professional level after high school. They have no more interest in sports unless they date somebody who's a huge sport fan, and that's most women. They don't have any interest. They go to sports because of the men. They go to sports because they're dating somebody who's entertained by sports, and they for sure want to be entertained when they come to a game. Now, here's my suggestion and also my verdict here on Higher Heights. Put in the comments whether you think what I'm about to say is wrong or right. Also, don't forget the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell. I told y'all my goal, help me reach it. I feel like since you already make more money overseas, we're always saying that women make more money overseas. Shout out to Brittany Griner, free Brittany Griner. This is why Brittany Griner was going over to Russia in the first place. I feel like worldwide, in other cultures, they have more acceptance for female sports. They appreciate sports on all levels way more than we do here in the selfish America and the United States, the spoiled United States. We want what we want, and we want it at the highest level. But if you go everywhere else, they appreciate the finer things about sports, the little nuances, that subtleties that you can find in the women's game. They appreciate it over there. They are willing to pay over there. So why complain about a situation that they're not ever going to get any better? Matter of fact, the WNBA is actually, y'all, taking a loss about $10 million in revenue every year that the NBA has to cover. Let's just get real and honest sometimes. Every situation can't be helped by putting a Band-Aid on it. And every situation can't get helped by us constantly giving to y'all women. Just be honest and understand when you're beat. Go to the overseas, make a lot of money, make a living, transition into other things, maybe figure out a way to grow the women's sport in another way. But the men had to get it out the mud. Let's be honest. There's a difference. There is a difference. So in the quarter Higher Heights, that's my suggestion. Y'all put it in the comments. Should women just go ahead and go overseas, pack up and go overseas and make the bread that's available, or stay here and keep fighting for something that's probably inevitably going to fail because of the lack of interest? But one thing I don't think they should do, whatever y'all say, is continue to try to drain and leech off the NBA when they don't appreciate what the NBA is already doing for them. That's my comment for the day. That's the podcast for the day. Appreciate you so much. That's Higher Heights. Y'all be blessed.